Hello students, my name is Lokendra Sharma and in this video we are going to solve the questions of Kepler's law with some tricks. So be ready with the video. So before doing the questions of Kepler's law, we must ensure that we have read the theory of the three laws and understand it thoroughly. So the first law, what it says, that every planet moves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. So the first law says it that every planet moves around the sun and it is moving in elliptical orbit. Now when we talk about ellipse specifically, so ellipse is just like an oval with two foci, and on any of the foci the sun is present. Now moving to the second law, that is the planet sweeps equal area in equal time interval. So this is what the second law says, that if we talk about if we see this picture actually, so what we can see here, that there is a time duration t1 and there is a time duration t2. When we say, let us take a condition when t1 is equal to t2, then what will be the conclusion according to the Kepler's second law, that the area A1 and the area A2 will also be equal. So this is what second law of Kepler says. It's not total understanding, I'm just telling you overview of the laws. Now coming to the third law of Kepler, what it says, the square of period of revolution is proportional directly to the cube of semi major axis, that is this. So the duration of revolution is proportional directly, or you can say directly proportional to the cube of semi major axis. Now on the basis of the laws given by the Kepler, we are going to make some conclusions. So after reading the Kepler's laws minutely, now we are going to draw some conclusions from the Kepler's law easily. And I ensure you that using all these conclusions you are going to be able to solve all the questions related to Kepler's law. So let's begin the video. So the first law says that every planet moves around the sun in elliptical orbit. So it is a very common statement, and mostly all the questions based on the first law will be theoretical, so that is not a big deal for you. I think it's a piece of cake for you guys. So the first law is just a statement based question will come from that. Now coming to the second law, the conclusion we draw from here are very much important now. So what we first have to know is that the second law follows the conservation of angular momentum, that is L1, and L1 is equal to L2, that is angular momentum of L1 is equal to L2. Now mv1 r1 is equal to mv2 r2. Here from this we get that v1 is equal to r1 and v2 is equal to r2. This is what second law says us. Also from the second law of Kepler we can draw some other things, that when we come across the questions in which we find that the sun is present on somewhere like this on one of the foci, and he is just asking that which side will be faster, A or B. So what we have to know is that the far from the sun will be slower and the near to the sun will be fast. This is how we are going to solve such questions. Now coming to the third law, what is it saying, that t square is proportional to r the power cube. So how we are going to remember this formula is simply t1 by t2 equal to r1 by r2. Now here have to square it and we have to cube it. That's how we are going to solve this question, and this is the formula we have to remember. Mostly the question based on the Kepler are from the third law, then it is then they are from second law, and only minute questions are from the first law. So this is what we have to remember while doing the questions of Kepler's law. And one thing I did insist you is to remember this box thoroughly, because it is going to be very helpful. So now the first question is here we have to solve is that in the question it is given that the distance of Neptune and Saturn from the sun are nearly 10⁻13 and 10⁻12 meters respectively. Assuming that they move in circular orbit, their periodic times will be in the ratio. So this question is based on on the information we can say this question is based on the third law of Kepler, third law of Kepler. Now you might think that how I came across this conclusion that this is based on the third law. So if we have if you remember that we did that box, in that box we in the third law we just written that T1 equal to T2 equal to R1 upon R2. Now it is square, now it is cube. So similarly in this question he has given us two distances R1 and R2, and he is asking for what? He is asking for the ratio of time. So that's why I know that this question is based on the third law of Kepler. Now coming to the solving part, how we are going to solve this question is that we have to write the formula first, as we have did it here. Now we have just to substitute the values in it. So the T1 and T2 is something that we have to found. R1 is given, that is 10 raised to power 13. R1 is equal to 10 raised to power 13. R2 is equal to 10 raised to power 12. So just substituting these values, and here it is cube. Now this value goes up. Now we can write it like this: 10 raised to power 13 minus 12 by 1 equal to 3. Now T1 by T2, I am also taking this power over there, so it will come and become a dividing power. Now what we are going to get is 10 by 1 equal to 3 by root 2. Now most of the people find it difficult solving this thing. Then how we are going to solve this? So it is very easy. 10 into 10 into 10. You have to first cube it, and then you have to under root it. So what we get here is 1000 1 by root 2. We can also write it like 1000 under the root. Now if everybody knows how to take the root, so what we are going to get here is this is our answer. If somehow you don't know how to under root this value, what you have to just do is simply do this old school method and divide it by 10. I think what it we're going to get is 100. Now again by 10, it is 10. Now with 10, so here it is a pair become, so this pair is 10, so it will be outside. This is not in pair, this is lonely, this is not in pair, so we are going to put it in bracket. This is how we are going to take the square root, if in case you don't know. So what this question says is that the period of satellite in a circular orbit, now again here is circular orbit of radius r and t, the period of another satellite in the circular orbit is of radius 4r. So what in the question we have given information is that T1 will be T, T2 we have to find, R1 is given R, and R2 is given 4R. Now we have to solve the question. So what we know actually is that the formula is T1 by T2 equal to R1 by R2. Now squaring here and cubing here, but now this is our formula, our step 1. Now what we are going to do is just substituting the values in this. So on substituting the value, what we are going to get is that T1 is, that is G, and T2, that is T2 is to power whole square. R1 is R, and it is 4R, and this is cube. Now what we are going to do is just taking this power here, and it will become dividing power. So what we are going to get is that T upon T2 is equal to R upon 4R to 3 by 2. Now this is our second step. Now what we are going to do is just solve this. So what will be our first step? We will cube it. So T upon T2 equal to R into R into R by 4 into 4 into 4, then again R into R into R, and it will be power half. Now all the R will be cancelled from each other, and what we are going to get is that T upon T2 is equal to 1 upon 64 power half, or you can say 1 by 64 under the root. Now 64 is the 8 is 64 is the root of 8. So what we are going to get here is that t upon t2 equal to 1 by 8. Now what we have to find is t2. So what we are going to do is just cross multiply, and t2 will become 8t. That's our answer. So this is how we solve this question. Now there is a homework question again for you. You have to do it. So the question is that the ratio of the distance of two planets from the sun is 1.38. So it is saying that the ratio of distances, that is r1 and r2, is equal to 1.38. The ratio of their period of revolution around the sun will be. So he is asking for the revolution period. So he is asking just t1 by t2, what will be its value. So our formula or our first step will be t1 by t2 equal to r1 by r2, scaling here, cubing here, and this is our formula. Now substituting the values, what we are going to get is simply that we have to find t1 by t2. So we can say t1 by t2 is equal to, let us say it tx, something like that. So tx will become, the value of r1 by r2 will be 1.38. Here it is square, here it is cube. Now we have to just move the power from entire side to here, and we are going to get our answer. So this is our answer. This is how we are going to solve the questions of Kepler's third law. Now we are going to solve some other questions which are based on the second law of Kepler. So if we remind the box that we did, so we've made there certain conclusions. So we are going to use those conclusions for doing these questions. So before that, let's read the question. What is it saying? So it's saying the maximum and the minimum distances of a comet from the sun are 8 into 10 raised to the power 12 meter and 1.6 into 10 raised to the power 12 meter respectively. So here in this question, we are provided with maximum and minimum distances. So distance maximum and distance minimum is equal to what? 8 into 10 raised to the power 12 and 1.6 into 10 raised to the power 12 respectively. This is the information given to us. Now it is saying that if its velocity when nearest to sun is 60 meter, so v1 when it is nearest will be 60 meter per second. Now if you remind, then we made a conclusion there that the object will be faster if it is near to the sun. So that's why here the radius is maximum, so the distance will be maximum, so the object will be far and its speed will be less. So here it will be v2, and v1 I think we have to find in this question. What will be the velocity of in meter second for when it is farthest? For the farthest, r is maximum, so v1 we have to find in this question. So let's now solve this question. So by conservation of angular momentum, we know that mvr is equal to constant, or we can say v minimum into r maximum is equal to v maximum into r minimum. So here v maximum is given 60 into r minimum will be 1.6 into 10 raised to the power 12. R maximum is given us is 8 into 10 raised to the power 12, and v minimum we have to find. Now it is simply by substituting we are going to get the answer. 60 into 1.6 into 10 raised to the power 12 by 8. So let it make 16. So here it will become 10 raised to the power 11. 8 1 is 8, 8 2 is 16. 360 into 120 into 10 raised to power 11 12, so it will be 1 times 9. So this is our answer. So the answer will be 12, I think. Wait a second, I think we have done some mistake here. Okay. So we had a mistake that v does not assume the power. I think it will be 10 raised to 12. Now by subtracting this with this, what we are going to get is 1 point, it will be 12 meter answer. That is the answer. Okay. So this is how we are going to solve the questions based on the second law of Kepler. Now let us do another question based on the second law. So here the next question. Here the question is saying that the planet moves around the sun at a given point P, is close from the sun at a distance v1 and has a speed v1. At another point Q, when it is farthest from the sun, the distance d2, its speed will be. So it is also similar to the question previously we done. So what we are going to do is that we have to write we know that angular momentum in such questions will always be conserved. Momentum is constant or conserved. So here we simply know the formula, that is m v1 d1 is equal to m v1 v2 d2. Now substituting the values, m से m cancel, so what we are going to get is v2 is equal to v1 by d1 upon d2. So this is our answer. Now match the, so C will be our answer. This is how we are going to solve these questions. Now the third type of problems that we are going to face in the Kepler's law will be given with some diagram, and he will be asking that the position, example here the position A and here the position B, which will be having maximum speed. So we have done this thing in our box which I told you. So by using that we are going to easily solve these questions. So the question is saying that the Earth E moves in an elliptical orbit when the Sun S at one of its foci. So let us say it is Sun and it is present on some foci as shown in the figure. Its speed of the motion will be maximum at the point. So we all know that more near the object is to the Sun, the more faster the object will be. So comparing with C, it is a little bit far from the Sun. Same with is the case with the D. B will be slowest and A will be fastest. So we are going to say A is fastest, or you can say have maximum speed. Have maximum speed. Similarly, in the next question, a planet is revolving around the Sun as shown in the elliptical path. So here we are provided with an elliptical path, and he is saying that the planet is revolving around the Sun. So the first option is saying that the time taken in traveling DAB is less than that for BCD. So DAB is less than BCD. Actually this statement is true, because this part here is near to the Sun comparing from BCD. So the first option will be right. Now coming to the second option, what it is saying is the time taken in traveling DAB is greater than that of BCD. DAB will be greater than BCD. So that is totally false, because there is a simple funda that nearer to the Sun, object will be fastest. Object is fastest. Similarly, if we compare the C and D, we are going to make the same conclusion. So you have to keep this thing in your mind that nearer to the Sun, object will be fastest. Far from the Sun, the object will be slower. That's how we are going to deal with such questions. I hope this video will be helpful to you. Please do subscribe to the channel and share it. Thank you.